Welcome back to FM Story, and welcome to the first Let's Play that's made it to the channel in FM26. We've had a couple of goes that have been aborted before they've even made it to YouTube. So hopefully this one keeps my attention long enough for it to be worthwhile. We're starting with a Glory Hunter save. Top 5 leagues in Europe, looking to win every league trophy in those 5 leagues, the main cup competition in the 5 leagues, and then all 3 European club competitions. To make it a bit harder, we're not starting with any club that begin season 1 of the save in the Champions League. We'll be starting with a club that are in either the Europa League or the Conference League. And to make it harder still, I'm not going to choose the team that we start with. It's going to be chosen at random by a wheel. So these are the trophies that we're after. In England, obviously the Premier League and the FA Cup. In France, Ligue 1 and the Coupe de France. In Italy, Serie A and the Coppa Italia. In Germany, the Bundesliga and the DFB Pokal. In Spain, La Liga, Copa del Rey. And then obviously, from a European point of view, we're looking at the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. So, without further ado, let's spin the wheel and find out where we begin. So, as we said, the teams on the wheel are the teams that qualified for the Europa League and the Conference League from the countries in Season 1. So for England, that's Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa. For Spain, that's Betis, Rayo Vallecano and Celta Vigo. For Italy, Bologna, Roma, Fiorentina. For Germany, it's Stuttgart, Freiburg and Mainz. And for France, it's Strasbourg, Lyon and Lille. Let's give the wheel a spin and find out where we're beginning season 1. And we're beginning season 1 in France with Lyon. So, as we can see, looking at Lyon, predicted to finish 3rd. The board expectation is Champions League qualification. We go straight in at the league phase of the Europa League. I think, given we're in France, it's unlikely that we're going to challenge PSG too hard for the title in season 1. So, Europa League and the Coupe de France are going to have to be the main focus for the season. And looking at the best formation, they would suggest a 4-2-3-1. We'll probably kind of stick with that. Obviously, they've got Hendrick on loan from Real Madrid. And on paper, that looks like a pretty strong first 11. But obviously, we will see how things go in season 1. We may do a bit of business in the transfer window. But we'll come back at the start of the season to see where we're at. We've made it to the opening day of the season. We haven't actually added anyone in the transfer market because we had no transfer budget, no wage budget to spend. Now, we do have a few issues going into the opening game of the season in that we have a few players out injured. Mangala is out for, I think, 4 months with a ACL. Yaremchuk's out, Nuama's out, and Hendrick's out as well. So we are missing sort of 4 players, 3 of which would be probably in and around the actual starting lineup. So the preview has us finishing 3rd in the league. Obviously, no one other than PSG players in the Media Dream 11. I mean, considering they said at the start we were a 4-2-3-1, the fact that they've got us lined up as a 4-3-3, we may go to that at some point, but I think we are going to start with a 4-2-3-1 and see where we go from there. Opening up the league season, we've got Lens away on the opening day of the season, followed by Metz. Then a tough game to end August against Marseille. Lille at the end of September. And we don't play PSG until November. So hopefully we can get a decent start to the league. But as we said at the start of the video, really the aim at Lyon is going to be the Coupe de France and the Europa League, because realistically, what are the chances of being able to challenge PSG in season one? Well, let's see if we can get off to a good start away from home and get 3 points on the board in the league, hopefully. So this is the side we've picked for the opening day of the league season. Obviously, we are missing those players we mentioned. So we're missing Hendrik, we're missing Aurel Mangala, we're missing Yaremchuk, and we're missing Ernest Nuama. We're also missing Afonso Moreira, who picked up an injury in training in the week leading up to the game. So we're playing Anthony Maitland-Niles, who would have probably been starting at right back on the right wing. Atabo is starting at right back. And we've called up Remy Himbert from the second team to play up front. So they're playing a back three. And we're going with the 4-2-3-1. And hopefully we can create some chances. It seems to have started pretty well. Morton with a corner for us towards the middle of the... Actually, it was aimed at the near post. It's dropped in the middle of the goal. And Niakate, with nowhere near him, has sort of scrambled it home. He just drifts over the top of everyone. Niakate comes off the back. The defender scuffs the volley, then goes in off the post, but we don't care. We're 1-0 up. Certainly based on the match momentum, we seem to be in control of it. It doesn't seem to match what we're watching on the visualising mind, but corner throwing for them deep in our half into the box. I mean, thank God that was straight at the keeper. And we tidied that one up at the back. But that was far too easy the way they just drifted in from the throw-in. I mean, corner for them. To the near post, we've got a head on it. Going to come back from that right-hand side again, though. We want to tackle, and that's half-time. A pretty decent start. A couple of points at the end of the first half where they've had chances to get in. A good save from Grief for the one shot we saw from them. But we've not created too many chances. We've dominated possession. We've dominated sort of, I guess, a territorial area of the match. And hopefully we can continue that in the second half. Right, we've sent the same team out to start the second half. Varner, Morton over the top to Tagliafico. Varner gives it away, and now we're rushing to get back. And Tovin. And again. And we've only got ourselves to blame. When you see where we gave the ball away, and then we've just not tracked runs, and it takes a huge deflection. From the kickoff, though, Morton into Himbert, long ball out to the left to Fofana, drives in field, means Tolisso on the edge of the box, and the two players involved in that equaliser for Lens. Fofana, who gave the ball away, Tolisso, who was credited with the own goal, and we've gone out to Fofana. He's drifted in field and then found Tolisso on the edge of the box, and he just swept it into that bottom corner. Right, we've made a couple of substitutions. Maitland-Niles has gone back to right back, and Gasol has come on the right wing instead of Hatabo, and Abner Vinicius has come on at left back instead of Tagliafico. Gasol now with a free kick into the box. It's headed clear, and now they break. We're letting Tovan run with it. That's got to be offside. Surely that's offside. It looked up 5 yards offside. Yeah. It was as offside as it looked. Morton into Suich. Himber looking for Fofana. It's been cut out though. We've won it back. Liso out to Fofana into the box. And it's turned behind by the keeper at the near post. Right, we've made another change. We've gone try to go a bit more solid. We've taken off the front man. We don't have another front man to bring on. So Tessman's come on, go into the centre of that. 3 in front of the back 4. Taliso, Tessman, back to Cliver, Tessman, and Gasal. We're knocking it around well here in injury time. Maitland-Niles down the right. Gasal and Taliso with a shot. And it goes behind for a corner. And if we can keep them up at this end of the pitch, which we haven't been able to, free kick into the box, we've got a head on it. And we've stopped that one. Now Fofana, can he break? Can he find the pass? I think Suich is offside. I mean, surely that was offside. We must have judged that one well. Fofana, I did think he'd waited too long. Finds the pass. He's through. And dispatches it past the keeper for 3-1, and that should be the 3 points wrapped up. And there we go, full time. 3-1 away from home, 3 points in the opening day of the season. And a pretty decent performance. Can't ask for much more than that. We've made it to our first game in the Europa League, and since that opening day victory in the league, things haven't exactly gone brilliantly. Our first game after that was a 1-0 defeat against Metz, an injury time goal for them, and we were pretty bad in that game. Then came a game against Marseille where we were absolutely outstanding. We dominated the game. Remy Himber, who we'd obviously brought into the team because all the other centre forwards were injured, picked up 2 goals and an assist. Pavel Sulch was outstanding as well in behind, and a pretty comfortable victory in the end, which was then followed up by a dreadful performance away at Rennes. We were terrible in the first half, and all we got was a consolation goal late on. And then the next game, at home against Angers, I mean, we scored early and looked comfortable, and then gifted them a goal. We got the penalty on the hour, looked comfortable, and then gifted them a goal in injury time, and really were pretty bad in the second half, in particular in that game. So it means we're currently 8th in Ligue 1 with 7 points from 5 games. We've obviously had our Europa League fixtures decided, so we begin with this game against Midtjylland. Then we've got Dinamo and Red Star and Besiktas and Slovan Bratislava, Porto and Ludogorets and Karat Almaty. So it's not the easiest load of games, but also it could have been worse with some of the other teams that are in the competition. Transfer-wise, we've not brought anyone into the club. Obviously, we didn't have any money to spend. We do have a bit now, largely due to the deals that have gone on. We've sent a few players out on loan, young players that we're not going to be involved in the first team picture. As far as the injuries are concerned, Endrick is almost back. Uramchuk is not far off. And hopefully that'll make a big change to things once they're fit enough to be involved. And we're kind of stuck with the same team that we've got until they are back. So hopefully we can start with 3 points to get the Europa League campaign off to a good start. So this is the side we've picked. It's the same side that's played the last few league games. Moreira came in after the first league game of the season and has played pretty well. Fofana's been pretty disappointing so far. And Himbert has been a lot better than you would expect when you look at his attributes, when you look at his age and the fact that he was in the second team at this when we started the save. So we're sticking with the 4-2-3-1. They're also playing a 4-2-3-1. And hopefully we can pick up 3 points to start the campaign. Right, early free kick for us. Tagliafico to take it. Chips it into the box. We've nodded it down. And him, as we were talking about him before the game, popped up with a goal inside the opening minute. That's a ball to the back post from Tagliafico. It's Tolisso that gets up and nods it down. And Himber just helps it past the keeper. And perfect start. I mean, it's been very quiet since that open goal. And we've had one more shot. They've had a shot on target. And that's it. We've got the ball at the back. Niakate into Morton. Ivor out to Maitland-Niles. And Sulch out to Fofana. Goes past his man, driving towards the box. The byline to the back post. I mean, we've got lucky there because Fofana did so well until that cross. And then Moreira does his best to keep it alive. And then the defender just can't get out of his own way and turns it in. And that gives us a bit of a cushion. And things are going well. All right, a late goal kick for us. With a minute or so of injury time left. We went short to Tolisso. Morton out to Moreira on the left-hand side. Tagliafico back to Moreira. Puts inside the fullback. And that was the second yellow card. Free kick outside the box. And we're 2-0 up with a 10-man. 2-0 up. Playing against 10 men in the second half. And if we manage to throw this one away from here, it'll be a bit of a disaster. Right, we've sent the same team out to start the second half. And hopefully we can take advantage of having that extra man. And again, much like most of the first half, there's not much happening here. Right, we've made some changes to get some fresh legs on. We've changed the two in the defensive midfield role. Abner Vinicius, who had the ball there, has come on for Tagliafico. Fofana has switched to the left. And Gasal has come on for Moreira. Fofana to Desmond. Abner Vinicius goes back to Niakate. Nati was dipping viciously and the keeper's turned it over for a corner. Into the last 5 minutes and it's looking pretty comfortable. I mean, I don't think we've seen a highlight of them attacking so far. They've gone along with this goal kick though. Niakate with a header. Sulch out to Fofana with acres of space to run into. Inside and then outside the man and easy for the keeper at the near post. And they've gone long and it goes straight through. And there we are, full time, 2-0, pretty comfortable. Even more comfortable once they went down to 10 men, but the perfect start to the Europa League campaign, 3 points on the board. There we are, the end of the first episode, and things have started okay. League-wise, we've had a couple of disappointing performances, but a big victory over Marseille, and a big 3 points in the opening Europa League game there, and what should on paper be one of the tougher games that we've got in the Europa League. Join us next time, see if we can keep that good start going in the Europa League and see if we can pick up some of the performances in the league. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.